Hello, my name is Osehun. I'll be your instructor today, and we'll be looking at elastic load balancer on AWS console. So we'll be looking at application load balancer. We have three major load balancers, but today we'll be looking at application load balancer. So we are going to run an architecture, just quickly run through what we have here, the overview. In this lab, you will learn how to create a highly available web server running into availability zone. Both zones will be public subnet, and the traffic load balancer, we apply load balancer, okay, with application load balancer. So we are going to look at the resource for this particular task. First, we have instances, two instances into different AZ, and we have a target group that combines both instances together, okay, as one. And then we have our load balancer. So the focus is creating an instance, then we have to create a target group, and finally we create an elastic load balancer. Those are the three major services, okay, that we'll be using for this particular task. So we'll be going to the AWS console. First, I'll create an instance and replicate it, okay, into different availability zone. Second, I'll create a target group, and finally we'll create an elastic load balancer. So while creating the elastic load balancer, we'll define what kind of elastic load balancer we're looking at. Is it application layer 7? We are going to define that in this practice. So we'll go straight to the AWS console. I'm first going to create an instance, so I'll click on EC2. I'll give it a name. So we are going to select the operating system, the AMI. I'm using Red Hot. Our instant type will remain T2 micro. I'll select my key. I have an existing key, so I'm going to select, or you create one. Now I can click on edit instance, so I may use the default or customize. So let me use my customize VPC. I'm going to select public one. The IP is enabled. I'm going to the security group, which is the firewall. I'm going to use an existing. So I have to select any of the Linux available. So this is for Linux, or you can create a new yourself. It's just clicking on it, selecting your parameters, and finally I'll come to the advanced details. Click on advanced details. Straight down, I'll have to place my share script. So go back here and see the script I'll be using for this case study. Okay, I'll be copying and pasting the share script. So I'll paste the script here. I'll come to my summary quickly. I have everything here. The software, which is the Red Hat, which is AMI. The instant type, we have the security group, and we also have the volume. So at this point, I'll click on launch the instance. So I've successfully created my first instance in the first availability zone. I'll have to create another, or I can just highlight, click on action, I'll come to image and template, and finally I can launch more like this. So exactly the same process. So this is the template of the first which we just created. All we need to do is just to make some changes in the name tag to Linux 1B. I'll move straight down. Just few parameters I'm going to make change on. The key, I'm going to select the key, the same key. All the information remains the same, you can see it. Just replicate everything, but now we are not using the same AZ, so I'm going to change it to public 2B. So everything remains the same. So I'll move straight to the advanced details. Go straight down. On the script, instead of 1A, I'll take it as 1B. So at this point, I'll click on launch. So we have our 2 instance, which is our first point of call. So we have successfully created 2 instances. So just click through. We have the 2. The instance state is running and the status is initializing. So click on this. In the next 2-3 minutes, we should have the status here as passed, 2 of 2 pass. So the status is now showing us 2 of 2 check passed for both instances. So, and if you take a careful look, you can see that the availability zone is 2A and 2B. So 2 different availability zones is captured. So now we are going to look at the target group, which is the second resource. So we are going to create a new target group for both instances. So it will be target type instance. So we'll move straight down to a name. We are giving the target group, so let's give it DevOps, okay? And let's move down. Our port protocol is still there, HTTP. So we'll come to the VPC. So we're going to select our VPC, which is the one we use in creating the instance. So I'll move straight down to my health check. Come to advanced. On the advanced, I'm going to select, go to make some changes. So I want to make this 2, which is heady threshold 2, just as on heady threshold is. And I'll move straight down, click on next. At this point, I'm going to register both instances that we created. And I'll move down, I'll click on include as pending. So at this point, I can click on create. So we have successfully created our target group. So the update is, okay, healthy and unhealthy. We have two targets instance and the 2 are unused. So at this point now, the last result we'll be looking at to connect everything together, okay, is our load balancer. Click on the load balancer, come straight, create load balancer. So we have to remain, we have the network, we have the gateway load balancer application. So we are using the application HTTP and HTTPS. So click on create. We are going to give a name here. Let me give it as operation. That is perfect. Straight down, we're using internet facing. So we come to select the VPC that we used. And we are going to select the availability zone, okay, of this subnet. And the first zone is a public, not private. Second, public. So just be very careful that both of them, they are public, the exact one that was created. We straight down to the security, we take the default away and we use the same security we use in creating our instance, which is a Linux server. That is perfect. So scroll down, the target group that we created, which is there's DevOps, that is selected, perfectly fine. And we go straight down to create load balancer. So the status is showing us provisioning. Okay, we'll have to wait at least 3 to 5 minutes for an update. Just keep refreshing. So now the status of the load balancer we created is showing as active. So it is created across 2 availability zones. So I'm going to select the load balancer and look at the mapping resource just to be very sure everything is perfectly fine. So you can see the routing process is showing as 2, mark as good, and let's see, it is, yeah, so the target group is healthy and healthy, so the 2 pods are perfectly fine for load balancing. So at this point we are going to do a test of what we have done. Go to details, scroll down, we are going to take the DNS URL, so I'm going to copy it, open a new tab, paste it on the new tab. So if you take a careful look, this is one of the availability zone 1B. So if I click on refresh, you see the IP address changes and also the zone changes. So you can see it is A1, the IP address is different, A2. So from the web interface, the load is distributed between AZ1 and AZ2. So we have successfully created a load balancer, an application load balancer that is connected on the back of 2 instances using the target group. Thank you so much. Very simple. Create your 2 instances in 2 availability zone, and secondly, work with the target group, having those 2 instances on the target group, and then apply and create a load balancer. With that, we can actually scale up and distribute our load across multiple availability zones. Thank you.